Hey guys, how's it going? This is Jacqueline. Thank you all for joining me this Saturday morning to learn how to make the skirts that I wear all the time. Today's skirt will be using 4 full yards of a silky type of fabric. I'm not even sure what kind of fabric it is, but this skirt can also be made with just regular cotton. I have lots of skirts with the elastic waist that are purely cotton, and they are also only 2 yards. So these skirts right here, I have had these for, this is the third year that I've had these and worn these. Um, yeah, so they have the elastic waist, which is very easy to do. There are literally only 5 steps to make this skirt, and it holds up very well. And like I said, these are 2 yard skirts, and they are the cotton blend. I think that skirt actually has a double elastic waist in it. So this skirt, that's 2 yards. This also is 2 yards of fabric. And now this is the other skirt that I wear. It is a 2 panel skirt with a waistband and with ties. And I love this skirt the most because it ties to your waist, and so it's a perfect fit, and you don't have to wear a belt with it. So yeah, if you guys want, we can make this one next Saturday. Let me know in the comment section below if you are interested in learning this pattern as well. It is a little bit more technical, but still extremely simple. So full disclosure, I have no formal training whatsoever. This is the 1 inch non-roll elastic that we're going to be using, but I have no formal training whatsoever. I learned how to sew from a lady here on YouTube, Heidi at Rain Country. She taught me how to use because she was self-taught, and she was very encouraging that you can just get started and you don't have to know all of the techniques and all of the terms. You can just get started. So I want to encourage you to do the same if that is something that's interesting to you, because this is only 5 steps. So now I'm going to load my bobbin with the color that matches my skirts, and then I'm going to get ready to thread my machine, and we'll go ahead and get started on this. It should take you no more than 3 hours tops to do this skirt. So here's step 1. We have to make a waistband. The elastic was a 1 inch waistband, so we need to make sure that our waistband can fit the elastic through it and have a little bit of room. So I'm going to make a 3 inch waist. So when I fold it over, it'll be the perfect width to fit the 1 inch elastic. So I'm just going to make some hash marks down the length of the fabric, and then I'm going to join those hash marks, the lines, to make one straight solid line, so that when I fold over the fabric, that it will match up perfectly. Okay, this process goes very fast. Now we're going to make a triple stitch. So I'm going to use that S1, that green in the middle. I'm going to change my stitch length to the S1, and that way it's going to make a really sturdy 3 stitch on each stitch, because you want your waistband to be very sturdy. So I'm just going to fold it over and stitch as close as I can to the edge. Now it does have some frayed ends, and you are welcome to double fold it if you want to, or iron it, or pin it, whatever you want to do. You can do that. I just found that this works best for me and fastest for me. So now we're going to just stitch. I'm going to do a back stitch to lock the stitch in place, and then we're going to just stitch all the way down. That's so simple, right? And I try to get as close to the edge as possible. Yeah, and just take your time going all the way in. I guess I might have should have mentioned that I make the mark on the wrong side of the fabric and folded the right side to the wrong side, if that makes sense. You see the shiny part on the right, that's the right side, and the left side, the dull part, is the wrong side of the fabric. So this is folding inside the skirt and not out. And so we're just going to go all the way down very slowly, lining everything up with the line that I traced all the way down, and that's it. Now at this point, I'm going to go ahead and get my elastic out and see how much I need for my natural waist. I wear my skirts at my natural waist, and so I'm going to just wrap it around and get a measurement. Now you want to make sure, I pull my skirts on from the top, so I want to make sure that this waistband will accommodate my shoulders. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm testing it out to see. I'm going to make it slightly larger than I need it, then I'm going to retest it. You'll see in a second. But you want to make sure you can take it on and off. I have had in the past, when I was first starting these, to make the elastic much tighter, and I couldn't get out of the skirt. I had to have my husband to pull it off over my head. Anyway, so yeah, I'm going to retest it. I think maybe I can get it a little bit smaller. So go ahead and stretch it. You want to stretch it to make sure that it's not too much elastic. So give it a good stretch and pull it around your waist, but make sure you can take it off, and then you're going to make your last cut. Oh, see, that's perfect right there. And these skirts are designed to have maximum movement and maximum comfortability. That's important to me. So now look, we're going to gather the ends together, and we're going to just stitch the skirt closed. So I'm putting my I'm putting my right sides together. So the wrong sides are out, because we want our seam to be on the inside of the skirt as well. So we're going to just match up those ends, and then we're going to stitch down, just one little line straight down. All right, so make sure you see the waistband and those openings. Make sure you do not stitch that close. Leave that open, because you need that to feed through your elastic. So we're going to go down the side. Now you see all those frayed stringies right there. We're going to just tuck that in. Now this is where this is where we're going to do a double fold. You see how I just kind of rolled it? I guess that's maybe a 1/4 inch if you need the measurements. But yeah, it's really simple to do that. So step 2, we're going to stitch in the sides, close it in. So you see all the frayed wires? All you have to do is just kind of tuck those in and give it a second fold. It's really simple. So I match up the 2 ends, make sure it's, nice and neat, and give it a small little roll, and then another little roll. And I just tuck all that in. See? Look, very neat. You can't even tell. And you're going to keep that same stitch of the S1 or whatever equivalent is on your machine, and you're just going to sew close to the edge as much as you can, all the way down. And these skirts are very rugged. I wear these full time, and so they take a lot of abuse and they take a lot of dirt. But I found that it's completely fine. And so you see how close I got to the edge to make sure none of the strings stick out. And so it's just really simple, guys. You won't even be able to see any of this on the outside, so you don't have to worry about being embarrassed or anything like that. So I'm just gonna keep going, and it takes a little bit of time. And like I said, you can do this ahead of time and pin it in place with some stick pins, but I just go as I'm going. I just find this much more simpler that way. Just tuck it all in there, hold it tight, and then give it another little sew. Okay, now it is a full circle. The skirt is taking shape. You can see my seam right there. All right, now the openings that we left in the waistband are right here. We're going to step 3, feed the elastic through the waist. So now you get your elastic, and you're going to need a big stick pin, or I think they have a tool that you can use to feed through elastic. But a big safety pin works just as well. So you just attach it to there, and you choose a side, and you just start feeding the elastic through the hole. Oh, you don't have to use the 1 inch. You can use any size that you want. Your waist will correlate with whatever size your elastic is. So if they have a 1/2 inch, then you maybe can do a 2-inch waist. Yeah. So you're gonna just scrunch, scrunch, scrunch. Then you're gonna grab your pin and hold your pin. So we're scrunching it together. Then I'm gonna grab the edge of the pin. There it is, right there. Hold it, and then shimmy the fabric down, and you're going to repeat that throughout the whole 4 yards of fabric. So shimmy, shimmy, shimmy so you can't fit any more in your hand. Then you grab your pin and then shimmy the fabric down the other end. It's literally that simple, and you're already on step 3, and it's only been 11 minutes on this video. Okay, now before you get farther along, you're going to come to the opposite end that's kind of sticking out the back. Now you want to make sure you secure that in place so that it won't snap through and you have to start all the way over. So just take a couple of stick pins and attach it to the other hole, the other opening of the waist, and that'll keep it in place while you continue threading through the elastic. I hope that makes sense. Because if you don't attach it, then it'll just feed through and it won't be actually gathering the fabric. So now we're going to just continue on with feeding the waistband through. And it takes a while, maybe 5 or 6 minutes with this much fabric. Obviously with less fabric, it'll take less time. And you just kind of keep scrunching the fabric down the opposite end. Okay, now we're at the very end. So now you see the fabric's coming, the elastic is coming through the opposite end. So what I like to do, I don't like to secure it permanently. At this point, I want to join the 2 ends together with that big safety pin, and so that I can try it on to make sure that it fits well how I'm hoping. So I'm going to just attach those 2 ends and use the safety pin to secure it so that I can try it on. Okay, and you can just kind of leave it like that till you go try it on. See, look at all of that. All of that fabric is now on that little piece of elastic. Okay, now at this point, I'm going to turn the dress right side out, and I'm going to give it a try on and see if I like how the elastic fits. So this is one of the skirts that has the waistband in it. So I untie the front part of the skirt, and then I untie the back part of the skirt, and I step out of the skirt, and that is my petticoat. I have 2 different ones that I like to wear. I have been testing this one out because my original one that I wore, it always seemed to trip me up and I had to replace it very often. But I can leave a link below in the description bar if you are interested in having a petticoat under your skirts like I do. So now I'm just putting it on over my head and pulling it down over my waist, and oh look, it looks so pretty on, doesn't it? But it's so long. You see how long it is? But look at all that movement. 4 yards will give you maximum movement. Whether you have the silky fabric or just a regular cotton fabric, you'll get a lot of movement if you have much more fabric. It can kind of be it can be kind of pricey, but I think it's worth it for the beauty of it. So I'm going to take this up a good amount. I personally love for my skirts to actually drag the floor because I think it lends to this old world feel that I really enjoy. But I will take this up probably about 6 inches. Now I will say this is a wasteful a wasteful way of sewing. You absolutely can make these skirts with significantly less fabric if you know your measurements and use a pattern. But I am not concerned about that. So step 4, we're going to just cut it to the desired length. Yes, like I was saying, I personally am not concerned with being extremely precise in making these skirts. I don't go a lot of places, but I guess if you live a very public life and you're out in town and doing things, you may want to consider learning from someone else who has much more experience than myself and who can teach you the more intricacies of dressmaking and sewing and things like that. But for my purposes, I find this to be the fastest way to add skirts to my wardrobe. So I'm just going to use my ruler as the 6-inch that I want to take off. I will say that I end up taking off another 2 inches later on. But this fabric won't go to waste. I tend to keep all of my scraps, and it may get added to an apron later on, or some little details on curtains or anything like that. Oh, I forgot to mention that at this point you can roll the hem also and sew it closed, but right now I am just using some pinking shears, and I just want to pink the edges so that I don't have to sew a hem right now, because like I said, I did go back and take off 2 more inches, and I would have been very upset if I would have hemmed it and then had to re-hem it. But a lot of times I do just use my pinking shears as my hemline. I am not concerned with a perfect hemline. I like this rustic look of it. I like how it looks when it drags the ground. And so the pinking shears are pretty much a godsend for me. It's definitely worth the investment. And so now at this point, I'm going to go ahead and secure this. I'm going to take out and I'm going to make a zigzag stitch down that elastic. And it's just a simple stitch. I go forward and then backward and forward again and then backward again to lock the elastic in place. Back, forward, and back. And this will make a very secure stitch so that your elastic won't pop. Because I've had that happen. I have had my waist pop before and the entire skirt fell down. I was here at my home, but it was pretty funny. So you see how, let me get it. Okay, so now you see how tough that is, and you're able to pull it. And don't use a straight stitch. Use a zigzag stitch. That helps with the stretch of it. Okay, and now you can also go ahead and sew this closed if you want to, but I'm going to just tuck that right on in and leave it exactly how it is. Because it would be hidden, behind a cardigan or under a belt. But also I leave it open because I have had in the past, like those skirts that I've had for 2-3 seasons, I sometimes put a fresh elastic in them so that I can continue wearing them. So now it looks much better. It's shorter, but still a very nice length. And that is it, guys. That is the entire skirt, start to finish, 5 steps. And now I just pair it with a tight top, a chunky belt, and a cardigan, and that is it. So I'm so honored that you guys will want to learn to make this skirt, and if you want, I will see you next Saturday with another one. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time here at the homestead. Bye.